Obex is not the kind of science fiction movie that tries to impress you with giant explosions or expensive special effects. Instead, it tells a strange, quiet, and emotional story that slowly pulls you into its world. It mixes fantasy, science fiction, horror, and adventure in a way that feels different from most modern films. It may not be for everyone, but people who enjoy unusual stories and old-school computer culture may find it very interesting. The story takes place in 1987 and follows Connor Marsh, a lonely man living in Baltimore with his dog, Sandy. Right from the beginning, the movie creates a feeling that Connor lives a very isolated life. His dog is clearly his closest friend, and that relationship becomes the emotional heart of the entire film. Instead of making the audience care through long speeches, the movie simply shows how much Connor depends on Sandy for company. Everything changes when Connor sees an advertisement for a computer game called Obex. The game looks mysterious, especially because it features a demon named Ixaroth who steals human souls. Curious, Connor buys the game. At first, he is disappointed because the gameplay looks simple. This is an interesting choice because the movie does not immediately jump into action. It spends time showing ordinary moments before strange things begin to happen. The story becomes much more mysterious when Connor hears his printer during the night. A printed message tells him that something is hidden inside his VHS tape collection. This scene creates suspense without using loud music or shocking moments. The audience starts asking questions. Who sent the message? What is happening inside his house? The movie keeps these questions alive without giving easy answers. Soon after, the demon Ixaroth comes out of the television and kidnaps Sandy. This moment completely changes the direction of the story. What started as a quiet drama suddenly becomes a fantasy adventure. The disappearance of Sandy gives Connor a clear goal. He is no longer simply playing a game. He is trying to save the one companion who gives meaning to his lonely life. The next morning, Connor discovers a Macintosh computer outside his home. He is pulled into the world of Obex, and from that point onward, the movie feels like an old video game brought to life. The filmmakers successfully create a dreamlike atmosphere where almost anything can happen. Instead of trying to explain every strange event, the movie lets viewers experience the world as Connor does. One of the enjoyable parts of the film is the people Connor meets during his journey. A woman running a small shop helps prepare him for his adventure. She gives him supplies without making the moment feel overly dramatic. She represents the helpful characters found in many classic role-playing games, where every meeting helps the hero continue the journey. Another memorable character is Victor, a television-headed companion whom Connor rescues from strange insect-like creatures. Victor quickly becomes more than just comic relief. He is loyal, brave, and willing to risk himself for his friend. Their growing friendship gives the story warmth and reminds viewers that even in the strangest worlds, kindness still matters. The journey across the game world is filled with unusual images. Driving through the Valley of Bones, Connor is attacked by mysterious naked figures that later become skeletons. These scenes are strange rather than frightening. They feel more like nightmares than traditional horror sequences. The movie never rushes through these moments. Instead, it lets the audience absorb the unusual atmosphere. One of the strongest qualities of Obex is its visual imagination. Every location feels handcrafted instead of computer-generated. The settings have personality. The movie looks like a strange fairy tale mixed with old computer graphics and 1980s fantasy artwork. This visual style makes the film memorable even when the story becomes difficult to understand. The emotional side of the film becomes stronger after Victor sacrifices himself so Connor can enter Ixaroth's castle. His death is simple but meaningful because it shows the value of friendship and selflessness. The audience has spent enough time with Victor to feel the loss. Inside the castle, the movie becomes even more symbolic. Instead of simply fighting monsters, Connor enters what feels like a spiritual journey. The church, filled with insect-like creatures, creates an unsettling atmosphere. It suggests that the final battle is not only against a demon, but also against fear, loneliness, and grief. The scene where Connor finds Sandy trapped inside a television is one of the saddest moments in the film. Just when it seems that he's about to rescue his beloved dog, Sandy dies before his eyes. This moment carries genuine emotional weight because the movie has shown from the beginning how important Sandy is to Connor. Another emotional scene comes when Connor meets his mother inside the castle. She shows him a book filled with memories before disappearing again. This brief meeting suggests that the adventure is connected to Connor's past and perhaps his unresolved emotions. The movie does not explain everything directly, leaving viewers free to interpret what these moments truly mean. The final confrontation between Connor and Ixaroth is not presented as a huge action spectacle. Instead, it feels like the final step in Connor's emotional journey. By defeating Ixaroth, Connor appears to overcome the darkness that has surrounded him throughout the story. The ending brings one last surprise. The audience learns that the entire adventure has actually been experienced through the game itself. Connor returns to his normal life, and Sandy is alive again. The final image of Connor relaxing on the beach with Sandy gives the story a peaceful ending after so much uncertainty. This ending may divide audiences. Some viewers will enjoy its dreamlike quality and symbolic meaning. Others may wish the film had provided clearer explanations about what was real and what was imagined. Both reactions are understandable because the movie intentionally leaves many questions unanswered. Albert Birney deserves credit for creating a film that is willing to be different. Instead of copying popular science fiction formulas, he tells a personal story using fantasy elements. His direction focuses more on mood than excitement. He allows scenes to breathe, giving viewers time to think and absorb what they are watching. Albert Birney also gives a natural performance as Connor. His acting is quiet and believable. He never tries to become a traditional action hero. Instead, he plays an ordinary man facing extraordinary events. This approach makes the character easy to understand. Callie Hernandez and Mosley also contribute to the unusual atmosphere of the film. Although the supporting cast has limited screen time, each character leaves an impression because of the film's unique visual style and storytelling. The cinematography deserves praise. The movie captures the feeling of the late 1980s without making it look artificial. The old computers, VHS tapes, printers, and game magazines create a believable period setting. Viewers who remember that era may enjoy the nostalgic details. The production design is another major strength. The fantasy world does not rely on expensive visual effects. Instead, it uses creative sets, costumes, lighting, and practical techniques to build its strange universe. This gives the film its own identity. The soundtrack quietly supports the story instead of overpowering it. The music increases the mystery and emotion without becoming distracting. Silence is also used effectively, allowing certain scenes to feel lonely and reflective. The screenplay is imaginative, but it also asks a lot from the audience. The story often values symbolism over explanation. People who enjoy straightforward storytelling may sometimes feel confused. Others who appreciate open-ended stories may find this approach rewarding. One of the film's biggest strengths is its originality. In a time when many science fiction films follow familiar formulas, Obex feels fresh. It creates its own world and refuses to explain every mystery. Another strength is the emotional connection between Connor and Sandy. Their relationship gives the audience a reason to care about the adventure. Without that emotional foundation, the fantasy elements would not be nearly as effective. The visual creativity is also one of the movie's greatest achievements. Every strange location, unusual character, and surreal moment helps create an unforgettable experience. However, the movie is not without weaknesses. The slow pace may test the patience of viewers expecting constant action. Some scenes take their time developing the atmosphere instead of moving the story forward quickly. The abstract storytelling can also make the film difficult to follow. Some viewers may leave with unanswered questions about the meaning of certain events. The supporting characters, while interesting, could have been developed further. A little more background for characters like Victor might have made their emotional moments even stronger. Overall, Obex is a creative and unusual science fiction film that values imagination over spectacle. It tells a simple emotional story inside a strange fantasy world filled with mystery and symbolism. It is not designed for everyone, but viewers who enjoy independent films, surreal adventures, and thoughtful science fiction will likely appreciate what it offers. Rather than delivering easy answers, Obex invites the audience to think, interpret, and experience its strange world in their own way. That willingness to be different is what makes the film memorable.